Hello and welcome to the Primest Propositions Vodcast, Hear the Lion Roar. I'm Matt Brown, Head of Proposition, and I'm joined by our Proposition Manager, Nikki Hemmings. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Matt. Thank you for the welcome once again, and welcome everybody to our next episode of Hear the Lion Roar.
Welcome indeed. So we're joined by a friendly chap today. You'll see what I've done with that in a minute. From British Friendly, we've got our Head of National Partnerships, Adam Shipton. Hi, Ads. How are you, mate?
Very well, thanks. Very well, thanks both. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate being able to come along and chat to you guys.
Nice to have you on, Ads. Nice to have you on. So I'm not going to grill you about new babies and stuff because we've just had a chat offline and you're getting a little bit better sleep at the moment. So fingers crossed and long may that continue. Let's start with a bit about you, Ads, please. So tell us a bit about you.
So I've my career pretty much. I started at Legal & General. So my big chunk of my career I spent at Legal & General. I joined literally just after college, moved into sort of operational areas within pensions. I then got all my badges, become a financial advisor for Legal & General. So I was financial advising out of Yorkshire Building Society branches. An opportunity popped up to work on the tied relationship that Legal & General have got with Nationwide. So I went to work on that. Then got tupied across to Aegon. So I spent a year at Aegon on their sort of investment platform side. And then a job popped up at British Friendly. So I've been at British Friendly since the beginning of 2018. Joined as an account manager, looking after firms in the south. Moved into a role, managing the relationship with the likes of you guys. I'm now actually just going to be starting a slightly new role as head of sales. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to be working a lot more closely with all of our account managers and obviously the intermediaries out there and trying to grow what we do in the market.
Excellent. So you've seen it from a few different points of view, and now a massive congratulations on your new role as well, Ads. That's brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, let's start with the questions then for you. So we see all the news and the press, etc., about obviously the protection market. As a provider, what have you seen in the protection market?
So last year, sort of broadly speaking, we saw that the whole of the protection market take a bit of a dip. So if you're looking at everything put together, it was on a bit of a dip, especially sort of life and kick. But income protection, funny enough, actually bucked the trend. So sort of broadly speaking, we saw IP sales rise somewhere in the region of sort of 20% across the market, which is really positive, coming from an IP provider. That's it's quite an interesting point on why that happens, because you would probably expect protection as a whole to sort of move up and down, sort of together. But my sort of view around this is, we've been through quite a lot over the last sort of 3 years. So, this time 3 years ago, we all sat at home, weren't we, thinking, what is going on here? And then we've had things like furlough come in, then we've had sort of, the cost of living crisis come in, there's wars breaking out, there's, all sorts of stuff that's happened. I think that's made people think about how vulnerable their income is. So if you think about furlough, I don't know about you guys, I'd never heard of furlough, not a Scooby what that meant. And then, I remember them talking about it on the news, thinking, that is some, in effect, that is some IP scheme that the government are sort of putting out there. So I think that's one thing, people have seen that furlough scheme work. A lot of people have actually experienced it working. And then obviously with, with the cost of living, everything's going up at the minute. I think people are thinking, actually, I'm struggling to pay all my bills, at the minute. What on earth am I going to do if my income, was to completely stop? How would I provide for my family, etc. So I think all of that sort of mixed up has made people, like I say, more aware of how vulnerable they could be if their income was to stop. And we've seen that play through in the market, like I said.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, take away the negatives as to why people have seen the need to protect their income, but I think it is such a great thing now that people are seeing the importance of having that kind of policy in place to protect their income should anything happen. So yeah, it's great to see that trend. So where does British Friendly sit in the market now then?
Right. So for anybody who's never heard of British Friendly, we're a small mutual society. So we're an IP specialist. So all we do is income protection. We sort of specialise in that sort of harder to insure, sort of underserved, maybe underinsured sort of demographic. So mainly your occupation classes 3 and 4s. So you're more sort of manual, sort of skilled labourer workers. That's the part of the market that we work in. And I think that is important for advisors to understand that, because it's all very well, someone like me coming on saying, yeah, British Friendly, we're fantastic, and then they go and quote on somebody who doesn't necessarily sit in our target market, and then they're thinking, oh, British Friendly are nowhere near. So if you've got your office workers and things like that, we probably won't be sourcing that high. But if you look at your builders, plumbers, that sort of demographic, we should be there or thereabouts. We do want to be an inclusive provider, so we do offer good quality cover to other professional occupations, for example NHS workers and teachers and things like that. So we've got a really good sort of sick pay arrangement with people in that demographic, because people that work in the NHS and teachers, they've got a bit of within that first 5 years, the amount of sick pay that they get sort of changes, and it makes it quite hard for advisors to have to do split the birds and and bits and pieces like that. With us, we try and take a simple approach. So all you have to do is quote on a 52-week deferred. That's the price that we'll give you, and whenever a person was to then go on reduced pay, we will pay out 50% of the benefits. So it just makes it really easy and simple for advisors as well. And we also have solutions for people that have got sort of variable incomes, or if you've got any client that's just think, actually, I'd really struggle to evidence exactly how much I'm earning at claim stage. We've got solutions around that as well, which we'll later as well.
Thanks, Ads. So a bit of a commercially minded question for you, really. So I've liked a few things that you've just said and I've jotted down. Easy and simple for advisors. You also touched on a 20% uplift last year. So, as Primus, you'll know, we like growth. We like helping advisors. We like helping advisors be really successful. And obviously with Consumer Duty coming down the track, we want to make sure we've got the right things in place for clients. But sort of bringing that commerciality back, I guess, how can you help our brokers grow their business, particularly in the current climate?
Yeah, good question. I mean, if you look at the IP opportunity, IP and isolation, the opportunity is huge. I mean, we see different figures being branded around, but it's broadly speaking about 1 in 10 people have some form of IP in place. So that leaves an absolutely massive gap and potential for clients that have an IP need. And for mortgage brokers, we know there's going to be a huge sort of refinancing opportunity this year. I don't know what the figures are, sort of 350 billion or something absolutely huge like that. But that is obviously a really good opportunity to talk to people when you're talking to them about their refinancing options, about the need for protection, and obviously particularly IP as well, because like I said, because of the opportunity that's out there. But obviously the key to that is you need to make sure that you're getting to those clients before the lender does. And that's beyond, it's the proposition that Primus advisors have got access to much more comprehensive than if they were to go through the lender, on the lender side, and obviously on the protection side as well. Staying on the in the mortgage market, what we're probably going to expect this year is an increase in product transfers as well. So obviously for advisors, they don't get paid as much on that, on the product transfer. So again, just linking it back to protection and especially IP, that's a really good way to sort of try and plug that gap commercially, for advisors. And obviously, the one sort of pushback that we get is actually, you're trying to do this with the cost of living that's going on. So we'll be going to clients, and we're going to be telling them their mortgage payments are going to be going up quite substantially. How are they going to afford their protection as well? But we have seen a big shift in the market towards more budget type products, or products any sort of. So broadly speaking, it's sort of 50-50 in the market now. So half of what being sold is on a short term, and half of what being sold is on a long term. And obviously, we've got solutions that can, that can be sort of really fit any sort of budget sort of constraints. And obviously, if you're selling IP along with other protection products as well, it's just that, it's just that whole thing around diversifying what a business does. So it goes back to the, I've heard, different analogies on this, but if you've got a stall, the more sort of legs you've got to that stall, the more firm it's going to be. So if you've got a stall with 3 legs and one of those legs goes, the chances are it's going to fall over. But if you've got your IP and your protection, your mortgage, your other bits and pieces, it just creates a more robust business for people. So, you're more able to deal with any sort of downturns in the market. And there's a big thing obviously coming down the road called consumer duty as well. So we really believe that we can help advisors meet the requirements under consumer duty, because it's all around identifying foreseeable harm. And especially if somebody's taking out a mortgage and they're taking out a big debt, obviously there's foreseeable harm there. So we can really make sure that we can help advisors meet the requirements under the duties. And for me, I don't think that duty is saying advisors have to sell more protection. But what you have to do is, once you've identified a need for the client, you have to put them in a position where the client can make that informed decision. And that's where I believe IP and our British Friendly sales team can really help advisors out there. And just the final thing I'd say on this point, Matt, is it's doing the right thing. So protection and IP, it's not so much we're going to put a protection plan in place to cover your debt, but it's what that product actually does for the client. So they're protecting the debt, but what does it actually mean to them? It means that something should happen, they can keep the roof over their house. But why is that important? Also, my family doesn't get surfed out. But why is that important? And that is because for most people, keeping their family safe will be their number one sort of priority. So that's what protection does. And let's be honest, if you put customers at the centre of what you do, you will naturally grow, because they'll love you. You'll get referrals, and you can sort of rest knowing that you're doing the best thing by your clients.
Perfect, ads. Great answer. Love the stool and the legs analogy. I think I might steal that and use it, mate. I thought that was really good. And I guess you touched on the product transfer, remortgage, and just the mortgage market opportunity. And I think your timing's great with that, because this vodcast's our April vodcast, and April is the start of Q2. And I'm not sure whether you're aware, but Q2 is where there is a massive spike of product transfers. So, I guess my next question off the back of that is, what solutions do British Friendly have for our advisors? Okay, so
we built out the proposition quite substantially over the last couple of years. So gone are the days where friendly societies are just sort of associated with age costed type products. We've really built our proposition out. So that's the first thing to say. Last year we did launch Level. So now we still have age costed options. So if you do have a client where Level just isn't an option for them, if there's a budget issue or something like that there, we've still got the age costed options, which are, still offer really good levels of cover. I really want to make the point that we have got Level as well. Because I still speak to advisors and they still say, oh yeah, but you're a friendly society, you only do age costed. That's absolutely not the case anymore. We do have a Level option there should the client want it. We've got short-term and long-term options. Like I said, so probably in an ideal world, everybody would have a long-term type plan where any claim would pay out right until retirement or whenever that person goes back to work. But we just know the environment, the market that we're in at the minute, that's not possible for everybody. So our short-term options are a really good way of getting them some level of cover. Rather than having nothing in there, and it can be obviously quite cheap as well. I mean, there is a massive argument to say if you've got a client that has got a budget, but they want a full term type product, can't afford it, the options that they've got is, they're walking out of your office with nothing, or you can look at different options, whether that is age costed or your shorter term options there as well. Like I mentioned before, we've got a sort of a non-traditional IP scheme. So most IP plans are linked to how much you earn. So X% of your income, etc. We have got a plan that isn't financially underwritten. So if you have got any clients that are would be worried about evidencing exactly how much money they're earning, should a claim come up. If you've got, I don't know, somebody who's moved from employed to self-employed recently, doesn't quite know how much they're going to be earning, we've got solutions for those. We've seen, a big growth in the sort of gig economy, 0 hours contract markets, so delivery drivers and things like that. So that product is a really good way of just taking that worry away from the client and the advisor to say, actually, you don't need to evidence your earning at claim stage with that particular product. We've recently launched fracture cover. So we launched that at the beginning of, or sort of middle of January. That's gone down really well. So with our fracture cover, we cover up to 18 different fractures, and we will pay up to £6,000 depending on where the fracture is. And that's been really well received in the market. And what I really like about fracture cover is if you've obviously got that running alongside your IP, something was to happen, your fracture cover would pay out immediately. So there's no deferred period or, anything like that. So you can have that lump sum straight up front. Then once your deferred period hits and you're still off poorly, that's obviously when your IP can kick in as well. Obviously, wrapped around our products, we've got what we call mutual benefits. Our mutual benefits is our sort of added benefits wrapped around the products. And ours is done through a company called Square Health. So everybody gets access to a Square Health app where they get unlimited access to virtual GPs. They can get physiotherapy sessions. There's counselling sessions if they need someone to talk to. There's second medical opinion services on there as well. And they literally just is an app and they can access that. Running alongside that, so that's called Clinic in a Pocket. We have something that's called Cash in Your Pocket. So this is just a bit of fun, really, and it's just a nice way of returning some money back to our members sort of unexpectedly. So literally once a month, we'll pull a few members out the hat. We'll give them each £100. So that's quite a nice way of doing it. So we literally give them a call, and once they get past the whole, is this legit? They absolutely love it because everybody loves a bit of free cash, especially at the minute in the sort of environment that we're in. We also have something called BF Care that's attached to our products as well, and this is just to try and help people that are going through sort of pretty rough sort of life events. So through our BF Care package, there's care assistance benefits, so we'll pay out a certain amount of money a week if somebody needs full-time care. There's death benefit that's built into the product as well. There's bereavement benefit. We've also got terminal illness benefit. And we do have something called recovery support benefit, which is a really good benefit, which I'll just touch on a bit more. So recovery support benefit is where if somebody has had a pretty hefty illness and they've been off work for 6 months or more, once they go back to work and have completed 4 weeks worth of work, we'll give them an additional 4 weeks worth of benefit as a lump sum. And that's just really good and sort of helps them in that transition of being off work and going to work. If you've got your builders or plumbers who might not walk straight back into a job, they might have to price them up or something like that first. It's a really good way of plugging that gap where they may be exposed.
Excellent. I mean, some of the additional support and the additional extras, obviously, that you guys provide is absolutely fantastic. And who doesn't love a phone call to say that they're going to have some money in their back pocket as well? And listening to all the kind of products that you sell there, it seems that you've kind of catered for every budget, every need, every cover requirement, which is absolutely fantastic. And obviously, it kind of gives the brokers the confidence to have that conversation and about the IP with the confidence that they're going to be able to kind of fit something into their budget and their needs, which is absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of brokers out there listening and wanting to know a lot more about British Friendly as well. So my last question to you there, Ads, is where can advisors go to find out more about you?
Thanks. So first off, anybody can access our website. So literally just is britishfriendly.com. There's an advisor bit and a member section. So if you click on the click on the advisor bit. Within that, we've got an advisor toolkit. So within that, we've got material, client-facing material. We've got advisor sort of facing sales aids. There's literally everything that you need to know about our products in there. So there's everything that you would need to know to sort of navigate your way around our products. However, if you're like me and you learn more from talking to people, we've obviously got a great team of account managers who would be obviously more than happy to pick up the phone or stick in a webinar or come see you guys. So if anybody out there doesn't know who their account manager is from British Friendly, literally just email primus@britishfriendly.com and we'll arrange for somebody to make contact with them.
Love it, mate. I mean, how simple. You've even got a white labelled email address, primus@britishfriendly. Couldn't make it easier. Nothing but the best, Matt.
Nothing but the best.
Proud to be Primus, ads. Proud to be Primus. So listen, thanks ever so much for coming on today. I think there's loads of useful information there, and there's some bits about your proposition that, to be honest, where this £100 that Nicky's just talked about with you, I didn't even know you guys did. So if I don't know that, chances are some of our brokers don't. So I hope people watching back take loads from what you've said today, and get in touch with that email address if they need to know more, because I guess you guys want to get out on the road and see more people and talk to more brokers, help more clients, which is result for everybody, isn't it, fundamentally? So listen, thanks a lot. Going to cut it at that, and we'll see you soon. I hope the sleeping continues with baby Hugo.
Fingers crossed. Thanks both. Thanks,
Ads.
Cheers. Bye.